What's going on, everybody? I just got home from seeing the new Return to Silent Hill movie, and I just wanted to spitball my thoughts, give some first impressions immediately after coming home from the theater. Return to Silent Hill. There's been a lot of negativity surrounding this film leading up to its release. You know, there's been the tweets, there's been the bad reviews, there's been your hot takes, you name it, whatever. But again, I just got home from opening night, and I'm not reviewing this movie right now. I'm not here to tear it apart. I'm not here to sing its praises. I just want to give some first impressions and really to answer the question, is this movie worth watching, especially if you're a Silent Hill fan? I've never seen another Silent Hill movie before. Just a little bit about me. I'm a relatively new fan of this series. I got into it really last year with the release of the Silent Hill 2 remake. Played through that, loved it. And then, went on to buy a PS2 copy of the original Silent Hill 2. Have a copy of Silent Hill 3. Haven't gotten around to playing that yet. I played the new Silent Hill F that came out last year. And again, the series is something that just really hasn't left my mind, especially Silent Hill 2. And I don't really need to sing its praises. If you're watching this video or anything about Silent Hill, you know that 2 is the great game in the series. I mean, everyone sings its praises, and for good reason. It is one of my all-time favorite video game stories. One of my all-time favorite video games in general now. But as I said, I've never seen a Silent Hill movie before. So this was my first time experiencing the series through film. I want to share a little bit about what surprised me with this movie, what I thought worked, what I thought didn't work, and how I felt being there in the theater. Being such a big fan of Silent Hill 2 now, seeing that there's a movie adaptation coming out. I know the track record on video game movies isn't stellar. However, still very excited to see the movie, probably way more than I should have been. Going into the theater with my fiance, driving up, had songs playing from the soundtrack. So excited to just see the marquee outside, look at the poster. I got the collectible postcards you might have seen online with some of the promotional material for the movie. I had it all. I was very excited. I was very giddy about seeing this movie, despite all of the negative discourse surrounding it. But I just, again, for the purposes of this video, is this movie worth watching if you're a Silent Hill fan? And if you're curious about whether it's really worth your time, this is what we're here to do, so let's dive in. So, Return to Silent Hill. First impressions, gut feeling leaving the theater, it was a little weird. This is not Silent Hill 2. It's Silent Hill 2 adjacent. It's loosely based on the game. It hits a lot of the same beats, a lot of the same characters, a lot of the same areas. If anything, it excluded some areas. But yeah, it's not really Silent Hill 2. It again hits those beats, but it hits them differently. It might involve different characters or different plot points. It does a lot of things differently, and it almost in a way combined with Silent Hill 1, which this is the same director from the first movie. To my understanding, maybe we're trying to connect this first movie and this movie, which, if you know anything about Silent Hill 2, is not how that game works. Silent Hill 2 stands alone as its own thing. I've seen a post online once that put it really well. Like, Silent Hill 2 is like the A24 Silent Hill. Like, it's almost like a spin-off of what the first game was doing and what would eventually lead into the third game. It's its own thing. This movie doesn't do that. It definitely tries to combine there was a lot of things in the movie that reminded me of Silent Hill 1, which it's cool to see as a Silent Hill fan, but it's not Silent Hill 2. I was okay with that. Going into this movie, I really kind of wrestled with myself. Like, it's an adaptation. I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but where was the line set? At what point was I not okay with how much they did? And I will say, early on in the movie, even the first half, it's obvious what you're watching is not Oscar worthy, but if you're a Silent Hill fan, it was cool, actually. I thought, I was enjoying it. And once it really reached the halfway point, maybe things start to get weird. They start to feel rushed. My fiance actually knows very little about Silent Hill, and I just wanted her gut reaction. We were walking out of the movie, what did you think? And she was like, well, I was confused. And as someone who knows the story of Silent Hill 2 very well, I was confused too, even at the parts where I'm like, I could see how this is like the game, but it's confusing. A couple things I really liked about the movie, what things worked. There were definitely some good moments, singular moments, some cool shots. The acting, I wouldn't say any of the performances stand out as being great. If anything, some of them stand out for being not great. But like our lead character, James, and Maria, they do all right. I mean, Maria's outfit, as you may have seen in the trailers, definitely looks kind of ridiculous. It didn't pull me out of it too much. I mean, again, the things that were pulling me out of it were just the comparisons that I kept drawing to Silent Hill 1, which I just thought were really weird. But, you know, those things hit, and I think they really wanted to try to make this to be something great, you know, but again, it's not an all-star cast. I wasn't particularly offended by any of the performances, but again, I think it did somewhat capture the tone and maybe some of the atmosphere. But, you know, the problem here is that, like, this is a movie, you know, it was about 100 minutes. You miss all of that exploration, that context, that puzzle solving that you get from the games. I mean, there's so much, like, I kind of enjoyed the movie because, well, you know, I enjoyed as much as I enjoyed it because I knew about the game. I knew what they were trying to do. I knew what they were shooting for. But my fiance, on the other hand, she had no idea, so she was very confused, where I'm like, well, I could see that if you could see about her, or anybody who doesn't know about the game, if you're watching this, yeah, it probably is pretty confusing. And yeah, I didn't love that, again, they took some key plot points. I mean, again, they're like there, but it's not the same characters doing these things, and they changed some pretty big moments with some of the biggest characters. Some of the biggest moments from the game are different in the movie, and some of them I was okay with, some of them not so much. Again, I don't want to spoil anything about the movie, of course, you know, but yeah, definitely some unexpected creative choices were made here. But there were some moments, again, where I thought, that's cool, or that's a little odd, or hey, I could see what they're trying to do here. I acknowledge this is an adaptation. I'm okay with this being a little bit different. And again, some of the things I liked. Actually, there's a lot of scenes with James and Mary, and they try to give them a little bit of their relationship, a little bit of context through flashbacks. And, you know, these things don't happen in the game, but I actually didn't mind those parts of the movie. I appreciate that they tried to kind of help people understand, you know, their relationship. But again, it's like, it's their relationship, but it's different. And that's the thing that I keep going back to with this movie. It's like, it's Silent Hill 2. I don't want to say it's Silent Hill 2 just in name only, because again, it is Silent Hill 2 to the point where it's Silent Hill, and there's the characters, and there's these key plot points that you do hit for the most part, but they're just different. It's Silent Hill 2, but it's different. And ultimately, I understand why that doesn't work for a lot of people. I mean, it's a beloved story, and you know, it wasn't the actors not necessarily looking like the characters we know. You know, it wasn't this part being different or that part being different. It was just the fact that how they changed some of the messaging that you get, you know, some of the key takeaways that you get from Silent Hill 2, you don't get here, because, and like the things happen, like it's like, okay, well, this is where I'm expecting to feel like this because this is how I felt in the game, and that thing might happen, but because of what happened in the movie, it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit nearly the same. And maybe that's because you don't spend nearly as much time in the movie as you do playing the game. You're not interacting with it. You're not, you know, reading the notes and discovering the lore as it goes along. You know, something else interesting about this movie is that it doesn't necessarily like cater to fan service as much as I thought it was going to. And you know, fan service, maybe you love it, maybe you hate it. It wasn't there as much as I had expected. And probably one of the bigger disappointments for me for this movie overall was, like, the music wasn't memorable. And if you know anything about Silent Hill 2, like, the music in that game is fantastic. As I mentioned, I was listening to the soundtrack on my way to the movie, and there are a couple of the iconic songs that play in the movie, and those parts are cool, and you're like, you can't help but smile, even if you don't necessarily love what's on screen. But yeah, it unfortunately didn't stand out in the way I had hoped, which was definitely a bummer. It was definitely not everything I hoped it would be. I can understand the negative reviews, but let's circle back to the beginning now. I mean, the question I posed early on in this video was, is this worth watching? Especially if you're a Silent Hill fan, you know, would die-hard fans enjoy this? As I would consider myself somewhat of a die-hard fan, I mean, a new fan, I'm very invested in it. Did I enjoy it? I wouldn't necessarily say that I loved it, but I was entertained by this movie. I mean, and maybe that's just because I really liked the characters and I was interested to see what they did with it. Like I said, the first half, again, not Oscar worthy, but the first half I was like, not actually, I wasn't hating it. The second half, again, starts to get rushed, starts to do some really weird things. Some of the biggest twists are altered, and I didn't love them. But I guess I enjoyed watching the movie in a weird sort of way. It's not faithful to Silent Hill 2 entirely, and that's gonna bother a lot of people, and I understand that. And hey, if you absolutely despise this movie, I get that too. Newcomers cannot follow this movie very well. It just, again, I think it assumes like the game never spells things out for you directly. Like, the game gives you the tools that you need to find out about the story, but it's not right there for you. I mean, it's there for you to find, but like, you have to want to find it. You have to want to discover this lore in the world. The movie like assumes some of these things and does not really give you the pieces if you're a newcomer to discover these things. So that's really a big problem. Again, someone like my fiance just couldn't. She didn't hate the movie, but she just couldn't really follow it. Again, especially the further it went along. So is it worth watching? If you were a die-hard Silent Hill fan, I think you will find some enjoyment out of seeing some of these beloved characters on the big screen. They're not all the way you know and love them. Some of them barely in the movie at all. Very surprised by some of that. But that's the movie. I mean, it is what it is. Thanks for sticking around this far to the end of the video. Just listen to me spitball about this movie for a little while. I know this was very kind of informal, not very scripted, but just wanted to get my thoughts out there while it was still fresh in my mind, while the movie's brand new. So if you like this video, please consider liking, please consider subscribing and sticking around. I really enjoyed kind of making these first couple of videos on this gaming channel so far. I would really like to stick to it. So yeah, again, really appreciate you getting to the end of this video, and have a good one.